time, in the year 1785, there was a faraway land named Hanau, Germany. There lived a happy middle-class family who had many children. They thought their lives were perfect, just like any other German family would. Enough money to support them, a family name, and even places for their children to attend school. But things would not stay perfect for long. This family had 2 loving parents, 8 boys and also 1 girl. Their father, Philip Grimm, was a lawyer and a court official who married the councilman's daughter, Dorothea Grimm. She was a stay-at-home mom. Then, all of a sudden, the Grimms lost 3 of their children right in a row. But sadly, it does not stop there with the heartache in this family, because at the age of 44, their father, Philip, suddenly passed away. Between death, illness, and financial situations, times got really tough for the Grimm family. Their mother went into a depression, and there was no income for the family to live on. So their grandfather sent them money every month to help get them by. The family kept moving to find the best financial situation, and some of the children were even separated till things got better. Out of the 9 children, there were 2 boys, who knew them very well, the second and third oldest of the family. They gave the fairy tales a whole new meaning. Jacob Grimm and William Grimm, you know them as the Grimm Brothers. They stuck together through it all through their family troubles, and continue to, because things got even rougher in their lives. Later on, their mother passed away, and soon after that, their grandfather went with her. They lost their family name, financial support, and any opportunity to go to the college of their dreams. It seemed like all was lost in their life. Jacob, now the oldest, was forced to be head of the household. He took a job as a librarian to help support his younger brothers and sister. William also followed Jacob's path soon after. The 2 boys studied at the University of Marburg to follow in their father's footsteps in law. They both graduated with honor doctorates. But while they were there, they were influenced by one of the greatest folktale collectors of their times, Clemens Brentano and Achim von Arnim. The brothers started to collect folk tales in 1806. Their first book was published in 1812, Tales of Children and the Home. It had 86 stories. The second edition came out in 1815 with 70 stories, and 6 more editions came out after that. They also published a series of German dictionaries and several other folktale books. Now, before we get into the description of the Grimm Brothers fairy tales, it is important for me to tell you several things. First, the Grimm Brothers did not begin writing stories together. They each published many stories before they even started collecting fairy tales. Many researchers have different opinions on what you would consider the Grimm Brothers' occupation to be, because nothing was written down in the 1700s. So technically, they were not writers, and they were also not folktale collectors. But instead, they were considered both. Thirdly, Jacob was more into researching and figuring out the language and grammar structures of stories. William, on the other hand, he was more into literature and music, and because of him we got the more pleasant side of fairy tales, if they have any. Now, it is said that the Grimm brothers collected many stories from the peasants and villagers all over Germany, because they identified themselves as common folk. They revised the stories to match their version of a happily ever after, even though most of their stories are very gruesome. The brothers wanted to show off the greatness of the German utopia and its different traditions. They decided that they would use the stories to influence the German people to change into their view of German perfection, and they hoped it would spread across the world and influence everyone. The Grimm brothers' stories were very gruesome, and nothing like the ones we know of today. The Grimm brothers wrote these gruesome fairy tales to show what German life was actually like. They knew these would be told as bedtime stories, but they wanted to influence the children on how to act in the perfect German society. The Grimm brothers' fairy tales influenced many people even up to this very day, and is said to be one of the most influential books in the German language. Is this why it is said that the Grimm brothers influenced Hitler? Research says that during World War II, the Nazis used the fairy tales to show what the perfect race looks like, because of the racist preferences that Hitler saw in the fairy tales. It was said that the next German generation would be told to study these fairy tales. The Grimm brothers cannot be the ones to be blamed for the Holocaust, because Hitler had many influences. The Grimm brothers were just one of them.